There's something wonderful happening with silver right now, even though it's very difficult to see, especially when the price has only moved up 7 cents today. But we can declare victory, and I'm going to explain why and give you a different perspective on silver in this video as we explore. All of the metals are up today. In fact, this is one of those days where gold has actually outperformed silver. So why am I so happy about silver today, especially considering that compared to the other metals that went up, it is performing the least. It is climbing the least. It is really not climbing as a precious metal. It is climbing barely as a commodity. Well, let's get into this market report here as we watch the metals move slightly. Gold is up 0.93%. That's almost a full percentage point, up $30.90 as there's been a lot of opportunity buying here with silver to now trading at $3,351.20. That's getting us much closer to that $3,400 level. Silver is up only 7 cents right now. That's about a 20% increase to $33.24. That's where we're at with silver. In fact, both those metals, are likely going to see some dips coming again soon. And during those dips, and even now, even if we think they're going to continue to climb up, if you implement dollar cost averaging, you're going to do okay. So consider Summit Metals, who's a sponsor of this channel, for your precious metal needs. They provide excellent service, and they have some of the most competitive prices out there. So platinum and palladium are also up. Platinum has actually now moved well above palladium's price. That's pretty amazing to see that it is trading regularly up there. In fact, it's up to almost $1,000 an ounce again for platinum. So what is the backdrop of this market move? And I'm going to tell you why we should be really happy as silver stackers here. Well, silver is really falling along with gold, even though commodities have kind of pulled back a little bit here today. In fact, oil is down about 1.7%. Copper, nickel, aluminum, zinc, and lead are all down slightly as well, and their price per pound. The Dow Jones Industrial is up, and the dollar index is down slightly. So silver is following gold, but only a little bit. It's getting dragged by the commodities. So in that sense, it is trading really to a degree like a commodity, and that's what's pulling it back, but it's still up as a precious metal slightly here. But the reason why we should celebrate is because silver, being where it has been about 2 years ago to where we're at right now, and you look through the course of silver's price history, we could have really only dreamed that we would see over $30 silver for a sustained period of time, considering how lackluster silver has performed. Now, I know gold is trading at near all-time highs, and there is that aspect of it, but as I mentioned in a prior video, we really can't make a bet on what gold is going to do to gauge what silver should do. And so therefore, when we're seeing these really psychological price points, such as $30 silver, I made a pretty big deal about celebrating $30 silver. And the more days that we see that stay above that level, that price stay above that level, the more we can celebrate. And that's exactly what we saw with silver. Now, not many people expect to see silver's price fall below $30 an ounce. Does that mean it can't? No, it could. And in some ways, during the summer, if this summer bears out to be the case, like we've seen in previous summers, not necessarily last summer, but in prior summers, we could have a period of the doldrums for silver's price, and it could languish and stay rather stagnant for quite a long time through these summer months. And it is possible during that time we could see it fall, yes, even below 30. But likely it won't be there long, such as was the case last time when we saw silver's price fall below $30 an ounce during that big market drop. It did fall below $28 very briefly before snapping back up again. I think likely we very well could see the same thing happen again above $30 an ounce. But here is my next target, folks. $33 an ounce. And we've seen it trade above that here for long enough that this very well could either be the beginning of a new breakout, to which the solid support could be $33, or it could set us up for a summer where we may see it trade right around that range. And psychologically, it is a strong number. $33. So today is a day to celebrate. Even though silver's been pulled and been dragged upon by other commodities, it's still above $33, even in the bid price. Every Sunday night, I do a market watch on this channel, and we watched it go below $33 for a time. And so when I woke up this morning and saw some of these pullbacks and the price kind of climb back up again, well, it made me quite happy and joyous. That's right. Now, I know many of you out there are thinking, well, silver's price is suppressed, and that's why it's low. But you think about it, it has broken through a lot of that resistance to where, measured in these Federal Reserve notes, which are designed to lose value every year by at least 2%, and right now it's about 2.4%, so we are still in a period of inflation. That just goes to show you that silver is pushing back against that and climbing up. And I think that's part and parcel to inflation, among other factors. I think silver is, though it's not reacting as wildly as gold has, it is reacting to all the geopolitics, all the same criteria that affect gold, save for the central bank gold buying. You know, people tend to react more radically with gold than they do silver anyway. Nonetheless, here we are. We find ourselves in a situation where gold is near record highs. The gold to silver ratio is over 100 to 1. And silver is trading so much below its all-time high, both in 1980 and 2011. And when you adjust it for inflation, people are just so disappointed in silver. But we've got to stop looking at 1980 and 2011 highs. Those were anomalies. They were up to that high of a price for literally a hot minute, for the most part. I'm being rather hyperbolic there, but nonetheless, when you look at how long those targets were there, how long those prices were there, it wasn't very long in the grand scheme of time. You basically can just wipe those out in terms of the averages. And even if you average them down, and those humps really did not last a terribly long time before we saw silver kind of even out. You smooth the curves for silver, and it's doing just fine in terms of the averages for the price over the years. $33 is not bad for the one metal that has the most uses, the most diverse uses of any other metal on the periodic table, well over 10,000 of them. I think silver is doing okay. And I believe that we're going to see silver continue to solidify its support somewhere around this range between $30 and $33. And the more we can see it stay above that $33, I think we're going to start to see a stronger resistance and support at that level before we see it climb up. Now, what is my outlook for the rest of the year? I think we're still going to see $36 silver by the end of the year. Now, obviously, it doesn't move as wildly and as crazy as gold has, and that's a pretty, I think in a way, that's a pretty bold prediction as to where silver is going to go, considering what it has done in the past, and it's not very often that you see silver's price move radically up so quickly and as often and hold those gains. So if we see $36 silver this year, it may touch it before pulling back. But nonetheless, it is quite possible. But I think we're going to see a smoothing out towards the summer months. And in those summer months, if we can see it stay above $33 for those summer months, that is a huge victory in my mind, even if gold was to break out above $4,000 an ounce. Or $3,500 to $4,000 an ounce. If we see silver stick around above $33, I believe it is a good sign. Now, silver is being pulled along and will continue to be pulled along with gold, but to a lesser degree. Today's movement, I think, is an example of that when you have it pushed by these other commodities. But I think with silver stackers, we need to be patient, we need to be persistent, And we need to have an understanding that there's a lot of psychology in the markets. Emotions drive the markets, and that's much more powerful of a force than perceived suppression. And so we'll see how that pays out. I like to be open-minded with regards to price suppression, but I've not seen any hard evidence of it. And obviously, with manipulation in general of silver prices and gold prices and platinum and palladium prices, I've documented ad nauseum that activity by J.P. Morgan. But that manipulation works to the upside as well as down. And so it averages it out. Why is there manipulation in the markets? Well, it's for selfish gain. For individuals or groups of individuals, usually, it's not really much more than that. The cabal really could care less about what silver does, in my view, other than J.P. Morgan, who's the largest custodian of silver. But there's so many different areas where J.P. Morgan can make a whole lot more money, other than a corruption within the precious metals trading desk. How well is it regulated? I don't know. But here we are. We're sitting at $33 an ounce, and my guess is 2-3 years ago, many of us never thought we'd get here. So I think it's time to celebrate. We got to accept the reality for what it is, no matter what your views are on manipulation or suppression. And with that being said, I think we can celebrate. And it's amazing to see silver hold on to this $33 an ounce. And I think we're going to have to live with it. And I think we should hold on and celebrate it. And let that be our gauge and our guide, rather than these unrealistic expectations on where silver should be. So I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.